Hello, everybody. Today we'll be discussing diabetes. This is a very known and common medical disease that many around you are managing daily. I see it almost every day in my field of work in the medical field, and also having a grandfather who lived with this disease his entire life. It affects several aspects of people's lives from your weight, what you're eating, how much you're exercising, constant medication and blood sugar checks. The two main types of diabetes are type 1 and type 2. And learning ways to prevent and control them are pivotal to maintain a healthy lifestyle. To delve into this deeper, please see the next slide as we look into more about type 1 diabetes and the difference of both. Type 1 diabetes is caused by a lack of insulin, as we call it insulin dependent. This is common mainly in young children and young adults. The National Institute of Diabetes, Digestive, and Kidney Diseases claim that genetics can determine the likelihood of developing diabetes, as well as other diseases and conditions. This type of diabetes, if you follow the news, social media, this is the one a lot of people are talking about, the insulin and how the pharmaceuticals are increasing the price for insulin injections sky high, and just something that Americans really can't afford, and people are not able to manage their disease without their medication. I will also explain more in detail what insulin does and what type 1 entails. The CDC, also known as the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, lets us know that type 1 diabetes is your way of your body, your pancreas, not being able to produce insulin. Or if it is producing insulin, it's very little amounts, and your body needs more and able to, to go through the day. The definition of insulin, according to the CDC, is that it is a hormone that enables blood sugar to enter the cells in your body where it can be used for energy. In the medical field, we call this your stored energy, your stored glucose. Your body holds on to this stored energy to use when your body needs it most. So if you're without insulin, your blood sugar will drop and it can't get into the cells and store itself into the bloodstream like it's supposed to. The CDC explains that high blood sugar hurts the body and causes many of the symptoms and complications of diabetes. As we continue, please view the next slide where we begin to discuss type 2 diabetes, and you will see the difference of both types of this disease. Type 2 diabetes is completely different from type 1. So type 1 is insulin dependent. This one, your body is producing too much insulin. It's too much sugar, too much glucose. The National Diabetes Information Clearinghouse, also known as the NDIC, explains that type 2 diabetes occurs when your body doesn't use the insulin you have the right way, and the condition is called insulin resistance. NDIC also says you're more likely to get type 2 diabetes if you're over the age of 45, you're overweight, you're not active, and it can also be hereditary. Many people don't know they have this disease, and they can go quite some time without realizing this, and it can go undetected. Whenever this is discovered, what we in the medical field suggest to do first is diet and exercise. That can help tremendously with all sorts of things in your blood work, but diabetes especially. However, if it is uncontrollable, the only thing you will be able to do is control it with medication, and the proper medication. A lot of this type of disease can be prevented from watching what you eat and adding moderate exercise into your daily routine. Choosing good food groups over the junk and the fast food and the sweets. Blood sugar checks are also very important when you are diagnosed with diabetes. If you proceed to the next slide, we will discuss what blood work and blood numbers are best to be at and how you can check this at home. And I actually have here with me what is called a glucometer, and this is a glucose meter. What you do is it comes with test strips and the tester itself, and you will take a lancet, poke your finger, put the blood on the strip, and it will read your sugar level within a couple seconds instead of having to go to the doctor, fast, not eat for however long till they get your blood. This is pretty quick and effective, and it's a good way to test your sugar. And that's what you check to see if it's too high or too low. And a good source to find out what your average sugar levels should be is through WebMD. They actually have a really good graph on what's good and what's bad. An accurate listing as well. Being fasting, so you're not having anything to eat or drink, your sugar should always be less than 100. Before your meals, between 70 and 130, and after your meals, being less than 180. And before bed, 100 to 140 is going to be a good sugar level. Sugar checks are very important when you are diabetic, and having your sugar too high or too low can be extremely dangerous. Another indicator for diabetes is your hemoglobin A1C. If you proceed to the next slide, we'll go into a little bit more detail about that. There are certain numbers to stay between. According to Dr. Kimberly Freeman with Mid-South Internal Medicine in Germantown, Tennessee, she states that a normal hemoglobin A1C is 5.6 or less. Pre-diabetes is 5.7 to 6.4, and diabetes is 6.5 or more. So if you do have diabetes, you want to keep that number under 7% for a healthy diabetic hemoglobin A1C. If you're in the pre-diabetic range, that's really pivotal for you to change some of your lifestyle choices as far as what you're eating, adding exercise in, and it can help your chances of diabetes. Please proceed to the next slide. Diabetes is indeed one of the biggest medical diseases affecting Americans today. Diabetes does not discriminate on gender or race. It is important to take the proper measures with diet and exercise to prevent type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and important to control your insulin with type 1. I hope this has shed some light on this epidemic for you. It's a topic that I love to discuss and educate others on, with having some personal experiences with my grandfather and being in the medical field. It is really eye-opening, and myself, I've started to watch what I eat and exercise as well to lower my chances with it being in my family. Thank you very much.